I'm going to turn this combination wrench into a short sword. And you can do it too. The reason you're going to be able to do this project also is because all I'm going to use is an angle grinder and a drill. The plan that I have in my head is to take the wrench and cut off the box end and then turn that into a perfect circle and chop it in half and then spin those pieces around and bolt them to the bottom here so that that's the guard above the handle. Then I'm going to turn this into a point up here, sharpen the whole shank into a blade, and then take these parts on the open end of the wrench and sharpen those into giant spikes. Let's get started. I think the first thing I want to do is cut off the box end. I'm going to draw a line across here, like a limit line, so that I don't cut too close to this and I can actually make this very round. I'm going to try to get all my cuts done with the cutoff wheel before I switch over to the grinding wheel. That way I'm not switching back and forth between the two the whole time. And it should make this process go slightly faster. So right now I'm just trying to make a little template, and then I'll trace the shape of the tip of the blade onto it to try to get even from side to side. So right now I just got to find the center of this so I can cut the basic blade shape on this, because this is way thicker than the handle. The handle's not going to take that long to grind down into a blade, but this will, because it's huge. So I'm trying to find the center, that way I can use the cutoff wheel to get rid of most of it instead of grinding all that metal. Every great sword has a name, right? So what should I name this? It's combination wrench, short sword. So how about Wrenchortward? Wrenchortward. That one's terrible too. Shorenord. Is that a good one? I've got it. Swartench. Like sword, short, wrench, swordtench. Lines be drawn. I don't think I have the skill with the angle grinder to be able to cut off the majority of this and not screw it up. It's almost a guarantee that I'm going to screw that up or explode the wheel trying to do that. But I do need to cut off the nubs on this, and then I can make it nice and round, and then I'll chop that in half, and then I'll use the grinder on this. Time for grinding. Pretty round. Here's my flappy new flap disc for metal finish, you know? Probably just brush the whole thing to make it look even. Now I need to cut it in half. So much for not switching discs all the time. I think I'm going to be doing this a lot. Something like that. I'll come back to these later and pretty them up, make the corners rounded, because they're sharp, but they're hot right now. Time for grinding. I'm gonna make these spikes on the end. There's 25% of the spikes done. All right, grinding that one was time consuming enough that I'm gonna take my chances with the cutoff wheel and try to remove some material from the other ones first before I start grinding again. Well, that was substantially faster, so I think I'm going to keep doing that. It's starting to look pretty good. I'm glad I put this thing on. My little lungs are starting to hurt after not wearing this for the first little bit. I think it's starting to look pretty cool. Check that out. I'd hate to be stabbed with that. Ah. Google says that a short sword is the blade is between 12 and 20 inches. Dungeons and Dragons defines a short sword as 15 to 24 inches. This can't be a Dungeons and Dragons short sword because the guard and my hand won't fit in that area. But at 12 inches, that's easily accomplished. But I think I'm gonna try to make the blade 14. And that should be enough for me to fit my hand in the thing down here on that part. Now I gotta draw some lines. That should work. I need to find the middle. So that's where I gotta stop. Now I gotta do the line on this side. Now I need to make a line here, which is gonna be more difficult than that one. When in doubt, eyeball it. Perfect. Time to grind for a long time. I cut these with a grinder. This time I'm going to use a 36 grit flap disc. Because when I polished those with a flap disc, it seemed like it took off a fair amount of material. So I figure, what if I just try grinding with it? And then maybe I'll keep the heat down and I won't ruin the temper of it. So I'm going to give this a shot after I plug it in. I think the grinder is substantially faster, so I'm going to switch back. So I've been thinking about the name for this, and I think I might go away from the idea of combining short sword and wrench and just call it something. So I was thinking like Sword of Destiny or something like that. That's time consuming. My hands hurt real bad. I did think of another sword name though. What about Wrenchalibur? Like Excalibur? Get it? 50% of the way there. Those two are done. It's getting lighter. It's starting to feel and look like a sword. Whoosh. Ha ha, yeah! What if I call it WRENCHCRIST, the bolt cleaver? Like Orcrist, the goblin cleaver? Huh? I think that one's good. We'll see if I come up with a better one. Doing the tips. I'm gonna use flap disc. Get her all polished up. Now it's a sword. I just need something to keep my hand from getting chopped off. Obviously, this is rounded and this is rounded. So I'm gonna try to grind those flat so that that'll sit nicely there. Yes. Oh man, that is nice and flat. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut. This is made out of chrome vanadium and it's hardened, so you have to get a drill bit that cuts hardened steel. I got my little bolts here that go through the holes. It's working!
It's working! It's working!
Get bolted right there. I think I got bolts that are a little bit too long. Yes! Wrenchalibur! Alright, here's the final product. It turned out almost exactly like I had pictured in my head. There's just a couple things that I want to change. Like maybe the shape of the tip and put some spikes on the guard or something to make it look more dangerous, but it's definitely sharp enough that it's very dangerous, especially because it retains most of the weight that it had as an actual 2-inch combination wrench in the first place, not to mention the spikes on the end. Hit like on this video if you want me to do another one where I test this thing out after I reshape the blade and you want to see how this thing does as a destructive weapon slash tool, because technically it's a wrench. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Make sure you don't take that bit through the pencil though. It's not made for wood, is it?
I think it'll do fine if it hits wood.
Did it say wood on package though?
No, it didn't say wood on the
It just said
package.
hardened steel.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd be careful.
Alright, fine. I'll take the pencil out.